What's going on, everybody? This Afro Think Tank. I know a lot of uneducated FBA think I'm just some crazy Pan-African that's just talking shit about FBA and I'm just calling names and I'm shooting at dozens when I say they're a white supremacist organization. I know that, right? It's because they don't know, and you don't know what you don't know. So my job is to let you know. Now, once you know, you're either going to take that information and do something about it, meaning you're going to stop associating yourself with ADOS and FBA, or you're just going to remain ignorant, willfully ignorant, and you're going to continue to associate yourself with ADOS and FBA because you like the leaders, or because you like the influencers of the group, or because you are stuck and married to the names because you just happen to personally like the way it sounds coming out your mouth. Because a lot of y'all only like FBA because it sounds cool, because African Americans always gravitate to things that sound cool. Yes, FBA does actually sound cool. Now, FBA was actually a lineage-based organization, or a lineage-based ideal that promoted unity with all Africans globally. If it was based in reality and based in truth and it was earnest, then, you know, it would have been something that could have possibly been accepted. And there's a lot of people running around calling themselves FBA, right? That when they hear other people oppose FBA, or they see somebody who calls themselves FBA do something ignorant, they say, oh, we're all not like that, blah, 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 because they're coming from a perspective that FBA is their lineage. So when they hear the word FBA, they're thinking African Americans because someone told them it was a lineage. That's why I say it's not a lineage, because it's not a lineage. Nowhere in any documentation is FBA a lineage. Even ABC, when they tried to use FBA, because I guess they were jumping onto a fad that they heard, once they did a little bit of research, they recanted the whole video that brought up FBA. ADOS, on the other hand, is an actual legal organization, right? As explained in my other video that breaks down the origin story of FBA and ADOS. FBA is a psyop from Tariq Nasheed. He literally grifted his way into white supremacy. How many times have you heard Tariq Nasheed say that right-wing racist organizations want to give him a big bag to shit on black people? Why would a white supremacist organization, why would Fox News, why would they look at Tariq Nasheed and see him as a possible ally towards them? Think about it. While he was bragging about how white supremacy wants to give him a big bag, what do you think gave them the motivation to say, hey, you know what, Tariq Nasheed is a good candidate to talk shit about his own people? It's because they've done their research. Look at people like Anton Daniels, who's a clear coonarian, who's a clear sellout. He ends up on Fox News, right? He is an agent of white supremacy. Look at all the black conservatives. They all work for these organizations. White people like to create organizations and networks, and they give all these little fancy names and shit to distract you, to make you believe that it's one thing, but it's not another. Keep in mind, Europeans are low-key. Their game is to trick. They can't fight you one-on-one. They can't go head-to-head. They have to do tricks. They have to play games. And FBA has fallen for the game. ADOS has fallen for the game. You are being manipulated. If you call yourself FBA, you're walking around, you're all prideful about FBA, you are being manipulated. And the pride of African Americans, some African Americans don't want to admit that you are being manipulated. You have been fooled, bamboozled. Do you understand? So me as a Pan-African who's truly pro-black, keep in mind, I am a real pro-black. Pan-African means global black unity. That means any black people on the globe, those my brothers and sisters, period. I don't care what your nationality is. I don't care what your ethnicity is. I don't care what race you are, even though I have my own feelings about race. I will back up any Muslim, any Christian, any goddamn black Jew. It don't matter. I'm on their side at the end of the day compared to anybody else. So anyway, without further ado, I'm going to give you some more information on this, and y'all got to drop the FBA. Drop it. Drop it. It does not serve you. Drop ADOS. It does not serve you. Who convinced you to hate yourself? Who convinced you to hate Africa? Who convinced you to hate Caribbeans? Who convinced you that we are anti-immigration? Who convinced you of that? Think about it. Think about it. How long have you been calling yourself ADOS and FBA? How many years of your life have you been calling that? When did we become offended at African American? When did we become offended by being called what we are, racially African and nationalistically American? You don't have to be ashamed to be American. You don't have to disregard your American. African Americans is in the name. You are a proud African who's also a proud American. You're not FBA. Now, if you want to be hateful and xenophobic, and if you gear towards white supremacy and conservatism, then go right ahead. Stick with FBA. I want you to stay right over there. But if you are truly a proud African American who have no animosity towards any African Caribbean, any continental African, you need to disband FBA. It is not going to serve you. Who convinced you to go against the Democratic Party? Now, I'm not saying the Democratic Party is perfect, but all of our power lies in the Democratic Party on the real, true progressive side. All right? Yes, within the Democratic Party, we have to fight the liberals, the leftists, the centrists, because the Democratic Party is more than just one group of people with one ideology. There are multiple different parties within the party. That's where our power lies. Who convinced you not to vote? If you don't vote, that means you're saying you do not care about making choices when it comes to being an American. Who took the power away from you? Think about it. Your ancestors in America have been fighting and bleeding and dying so that you can vote. So all of a sudden you want to sit on the couch. Who would tell you to sit on the couch, to not participate, to dishonor your ancestors who fought, bled, marched, was dismembered, maimed, murdered so that you could vote? Your vote matters, because if your vote didn't goddamn matter, they wouldn't try so hard to stop you from voting. If your vote didn't matter, they wouldn't try so hard to stop you from voting. So obviously your vote matters. The problem is you have to be an intelligent voter. Know who you're voting for and why you're voting. And of course, you never get everything you want when you vote. But we have to take steps. Sometimes we take steps back. But listen, all of the black power in America in politics is in the Democratic Progressive Party. And who keep trying to tell you that the Democrats and the Republicans are the same? That's being intellectually ignorant. Those are politically illiterate individuals. They are not the same, because if they were the same, we would have a one-party system like China. They are different with different ideologies. And within there are multiple different ideologies that fight each other within each camps. The Republican Party is compromised because they're not even conservative. The people currently running the Republican Party are not even conservative. That's why all the conservative Republicans are now, the real true small hat conservative Republicans have left the Republican Party, and they're either independent or they're conservative Democrats. There are no more rational politicians in the Republican Party. As you can see, they are allowing this piece of shit, white supremacist, foreign neo-Nazi administration owned by the Israeli government and Benjamin Netanyahu to gallivant around the world, destroying everything, destroying our allies, killing babies and children. How can you align yourself with a party like that? You want to know, how is it that a group of people can enslave millions of people and bring them over here to work for free? The same ones that can kill babies. The same ones that can really nearly drop bombs on innocent people that got nothing to do with nothing. The same one that can just go and drop bombs and use drones and just kill anybody anywhere on the globe as they want under the guise of freedom and democracy. Now, the Democratic Party are weak because they don't know how to fight. Most of the Democratic Party are full with a bunch of intellectuals that think they know what's best. They don't know how to unite. They don't know how to fight together. That is their problem. And they don't allow the progressive portions of the Democratic Party, which is the black portion, right? The black portion and the Jewish allies of the black people portion, the progressive part of the Democratic Party. They do not never allow us to seek power, to gain power, to hold power. That is the problem. So what we need to do is we need to align with where our political power lies, and then we need to back them up within the Democratic Party and defeat all those Democrats who rather be corporatists, who rather be conservative. We need to put progressive Democrats, whether white, black, Jewish, whatever you want to call them, in office so that we can all get the things that we want. Because 80% of the platform of progressive Democrats is what 80% of America want. What I mean is the progressive platform of the Democratic Party. The Progressive Democratic Party. The progressives within the Democratic Party are the most popular policies in America. It's just that people want to play teams. They want to be intellectually lazy, want to be politically unaware. And because of that, they allow all other factions that know that most people are not paying attention to politics. They know you're not paying attention, so they can just tell you anything, give you a bullet point, and you run with it, and you vote against your own best interests. So anyway, without further ado, I'm going to keep banging on it because clearly I'm the only one who cares. Me and other Pan-Africans, me and other progressives, we actually care. That's why we got so much passion about the issue, because no one else seems to care. Anyway, tell me what you think in the comment sections. Afro Think Tank, learn some Tito. I'm out.
How are groups like ADOS and FBA related to white supremacy? Let's talk about it. First, let's start with the Tanton Network. The Tanton Network was started or founded by John Tanton, a white supremacist and eugenicist who felt that the United States was getting too black and too brown. He decided that he wanted to create organizations that appeared progressive, but they actually had an ulterior motive: to limit black and brown immigration and keep the United States whitey. John Tanton said, and I quote, "For European American society and culture to persist requires a European American majority, and a clear one at that." Another quote, "We decline to bequeath our children minority status in their own land." John Tanton quotes. So how exactly did John Tanton decide to attack the black community? Some of these white supremacy front groups are as followed: Progressives for Immigration Reform, U.S. Tech Workers, Federation for Immigration Reform, Centers for Immigration Studies, Numbers USA, Blacks for Equal Rights Coalition. Blacks is crazy. Choose Black America. For the record, the majority of the African American community is not against immigration of black and brown people. What is the result of this kind of coonery? Weakened growth of the black population, because when black immigrants come to the United States, the black birth rate goes up because we do intermix, we do intermarry, and we have families together. Weakened understanding of global black oppression and systemic racism. A weakened black vote. Increased surveillance and criminalization. But how are groups like ADOS and FBA perpetuators of white supremacy? Co-founder of ADOS, Yvette Carnell, also sits on the board of Progressives for Immigration Reform, one of the white supremacist front groups that I detailed earlier. Unfortunately, targeting black immigrants is not the way to get reparations. ADOS basically targets black immigrants. They say that black immigrants are taking African American jobs, black immigrants are causing a lot of crime in the African American community, basically scapegoating black immigrants so that they can turn the African American population against black immigration, which the majority of African Americans don't even support. U.S. Tech Workers is an organization that is trying to get reformation with the H-1B visa. This is a visa that black immigrants, one of many visas, apply for. It is a highly skilled visa. So you have people applying for the H-1B visa who come into the country, who go into STEM, science, technology, mathematics. Not a bad thing, right? However, Trump signed an executive order to limit the program for H-1B visas. Antonio Moore, who was the co-founder of ADOS, shared the article on Twitter for all of us to see their work. All of this information has been studied by the blackinstitute.org and the Southern Poverty Law Centers. I'll be adding additional sources in the link below. How is FBA related to all of this? Well, like for part 2.
Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such an extent that you bleach? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Before you come asking Mr. Muhammad, does he teach hate, you should ask yourself, who taught you to hate being what God gave you?
'Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! We most definitely cannot forget about the people of Sudan.
Thanks for watching Afro Think Tank. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And follow me on Substack and Patreon for more content. Remember, it's Pan-Africanism or nothing.